Pokemon Omega Ruby Hardcore Nuzlocke, but I can only use electric type Pokemon. The journey begins with Poochyena infatuated with Professor Birch's crotch level. I helped him by selecting my favorite Hoenn starter, Plusle. Her name is Outlet, and the nature of Naive giving a raise in speed is quite nice. It does decrease special defense, but she was getting crushed in one move anyway. Outlet can only use quick attack against the early game until level 7 she learns her first electric type move being Spark. I hate Wally, I do. With only one electric type Pokemon, I am wondering how I'm able to defeat the first gym leader being Roxanne and her rock types. Oh, okay. That must be how. And another tool I get is the move Encore, which is learned at level 10. Encore forces the enemy to repeat the same moves for 3 turns. Depending on the moveset, opponents can be locked into being absolutely useless. In Rustboro City, Roxanne the rock type specialist is waiting. I flawlessly dodge all the gym trainers and challenge her with only Outlet the Plusle. Her lead is Geodude, and I build damage with Echo Voices. Geodude is doing solid damage back with Rock Tomb while lowering Outlet's speed stat. Our held Oranberry and natural high speed stat allows Outlet to come up on top. Roxanne's Ace Nose Pass is released, and I try an Echoed Voice just to scout out some damage numbers. It's not nearly as strong as I need, and Rock Tomb puts us in a very dangerous spot. A desperate Spark attack is not enough for the KO, but luckily the Nose Pass spares us with a weak tackle. The mercy of Nose Pass gives Outlet a free Spark to secure the victory that we definitely should have lost. Thank you for throwing, Mr. Nose, and I'll take that deserved gym badge. Cinematic boat moment. And yeah, we're already challenging Brawly, the fighting type gym leader. There's not a lot of space in between those two gym fights. We always use Echoed Voice first on his Machop because of its lower special defense, and 2 attacks are enough to feint him. His Ace Makuhita is bulkier, but Echoed Voice almost one-shots. Outlet barely survives a knockoff critical hit and awaits the next turn. Brawly heals his Pokemon, but since Echoed Voice gets stronger being used consecutively, only one is needed to defeat the fat fighting type and claim our second gym badge. Echoed Voice really carries the early game, and a Silk Scarf is obtained to boost its power even more. Route 111 is where we finally get our first new member, being an Electrike. I really didn't know what to call him, so yeah, Waluigi it is. Unfortunately, he has lower defense, adding to the frailness of the team, but a plus speed stat is always great. It's not amazing because he's already a fast Pokemon, but whatever, we'll take it. I then meet this TikTok star, and she redresses me against my will while forcing me to compete in a Pokemon pageant. It was worth it because I received Poker the cosplay Pikachu. That's right, I'm using cosplay Pikachu, and not evolving a Pikachu into Raichu. Raichu offers more to an already frail team, but I don't care. Using a cosplay Pikachu is honestly part of the reason why I even decided to do this Nuzlocke in the first place. Poker can have her costume changed, which can teach her a new move that Pikachus cannot normally learn. I decided to stick with Wrestling Pikachu with Flying Press for now because we desperately need more coverage moves. Oh yeah, and I have a rival fight, and she is not much of a threat. Speaking of that, Wally exists too, and you need to return to Verdant Turf. Watson is the next gym leader that happens to use electric type Pokemon, and I must destroy him. It's a 3v3 Pokemon battle for the title of Thunder Master, and Pikachu is led against Magnemite. Flying Press is a fighting type move, but it also does flying type damage too, so Magnemite's steel and electric typing both resist the hit. Magnemite is kind enough to shock Poker, which activates her Lightning Rod ability. Poker goes for another Flying Press, and Magnemite pathetically tackles. Next turn, an Electro Ball wins the 1v1. Voltorb comes out, and Poker dishes out attacks while Voltorb wastes turns using Charge. It's really weird because this Voltorb knows Rollout and could have easily been a threat, but it decided to trap itself, like as if Poker has an Encore passive buff or something. The Electric Fraud reveals his Ace Magneton. Pivoting to Outlet, we resist the Magnet Bomb. Outlet then again locks Magneton into continued magnet bombs. The chain of resisted hits gives Outlet the chance to echo some voices. Waluigi is swapped in to use a Leer, but it cannot survive long, so Poker is brought in. Poker received an attack special boost, absorbing a Volt Switch. Poker tries to do something, but my luck is bad with Confusion stopping 2 attacks. I'm afraid that Electro Ball won't be enough to win, so I pray for no crit and swap to Plusle. Both Pokemon trade moves and both barely die. I get rid of Magneton's Totem of Undying by using Spark next turn and becoming the new strongest electric type trainer in Hoenn. Hey, someone better put Watson on a daily wellness check after I become champion. Besting Watson has opened my ability to master the ancient technique of teaching all of my Pokemon Volt Switch. I really have mastered electric type Pokemon. Watson cries more as I pop a swag wheelie on a bike in his hometown. Showing him mercy, I leave the town to capture a Minun named Toaster. This encounter is late because I really did not pay too much attention to how early I could get new members, so if any of my other encounters timings are weird, that's why. On Route 111, this guy shows me his little secret, and then Waluigi learns Bite. With the upcoming challenges ahead, I find it useful to change Poker's costume into Beauty. This will trade Flying Press with Icicle Crash that can threaten ground types. I also need to stop using Flying Press. The Watson fight just outlined how I do not know how to read its type effectiveness. The TM for Dig is given by talking to this guy, and Pikachu is the only one to find value for this new move. On the topic of new moves, Outlet learns Charm. This is a major buff in the team's tools. Charm lowers the opponent's physical attack by 2 stages. In Meteor Falls, I'm forced into a double battle with my rival against Team Magma, and this goofy little coughing, it decides to participate in Domestic Terror. This has Toaster the Minun survive on 1 HP because he has Flak Jacket equipped in his perk 1 slot. The next goal is to climb Mount Chimney to put a temporary stop to Team Magma. I juke a Hiker because my electric types I'm not trying to battle more ground types than I have to. I ride the lift up and witness Archie of Team Aqua standing on business. He's about to squad wipe. I match his energy by challenging Magma leader Maxie to a battle. Toaster stares down his Mightyena before echoing his voice. Swagger confuses us, but Toaster cures it with a Prism Berry. Echoed Voice does enough to secure a KO the next turn, but Swagger confuses us again and Toaster is disrupted by it. Mightyena roars her out into my HM barrel of equal rights. He's not supposed to be in this battle, so I just let him die and Toaster returns. Being forced out caused Toaster's Echoed Voice power to be resetted, so 2 will have to be used to knock out the wolf. Toaster is in KO range as Maxie's Canerupt appears. I have no safe pivot, so I decide Toaster needs to be sacked to protect my other Pokemon. Toaster falls to an Earth power. Thank you, Toaster. You did well. Poker comes in and is able to take the boss down with a dig attack, thanks to Toaster's putting him in range of death. Golbat is his last member, and electric attacks are enough to assure dominance. I cope with Toaster's death by stuffing it down inside my psyche, pressing forward to Lava Ridge Town. Flannery is the fire-type gym leader, and I have to be extremely careful. My electric-type Pokemon are not weak to fire types, but Flannery's Pokemon, each of them have a really powerful fire-type attack. The neutral damage is still enough to be a concern for my team. Poker leads against her Slugma, and well, Slugma is a Slugma, so even with a great moveset, it's too weak and slow, and it falls to a single dig attack. Numel is part ground type, and thankfully it has Earth power, so it cannot KO Poker going for a dig. The only ground type moves that can hurt a target underground are Earthquake and Magnitude, in case y'all didn't know. Flannery's Ace Torkoal is released, and Poker cannot stay in. You see, even with a super effective dig, Torkoal has extremely high defense, so we must must find another way. Luckily enough, she doesn't nuke my rodent with overheat and waste a turn using curse. Increasing her defense and attack with curse would be scary in every other instance, but not this one because it gives Outlet the chance to encore lock her into the move. Torkoal is stuck into a setup move, so spamming volt switches into her lower special defense, it allows us to overcome odds and win our 4th gym badge. Yeah, encore is OP. You should learn to abuse it in your Nuzlocks too if you don't already. There isn't much of a break in between gym 4 and 5, but we still make some huge power spikes. Poker has her costume changed back to Pikachu Libre with fighting press because we need a super effective fighting move against Norman's normal types. We also teach Manectric the big red button of overheat that we got from Flannery. Returning to Petalburg, time for one of my favorite gym battles in any Pokemon game. Outlet can begin with charming the Slacking to lower his attack. He yawns, so avoid being fallen asleep next turn. We Volt Switch pivot into Waluigi. This is safe because Slacking's ability is Truant, which causes it to not do anything the next turn after performing a move. Waluigi discharges Slacking into critical health while he tries to put us to sleep. We Volt Switch back to Outlet while Norman burns a Hyper Potion. I'm safe to attack because it's his Truant turn, so Volt Switches can take down the first Slacking. Vigoroth does not have Truant or a crazy attack stat, but it is faster and it's looking to use Retaliate for a revenge kill. We are faster and we cut his attack with Charm, but he encores us. That is fine because we cut his attack further and Retaliate now barely does any damage. Now that Vigoroth's offensive pressure is non-existent, Poker can easily clean up into Norman's a Slacking. Waluigi almost dies to a chip away and luckily has his static ability active to paralyze the Slacking. Waluigi Volt Switches into Outlet for a Charm to cripple the threat even more. His Truant turn is next, so we Charm down again and Volt Switch into healthier Poker. The Charms help Poker survive a Retaliate and Flying Press knocks out the ace Pokemon. Norman gives us our 5th gym badge and that seemed easy, but honestly without Charm that fight is way harder. Listen, I know a lot of Nuzlockers, they like to exploit Truant turns from the Slackings by using a 2-turn move like Dig, but it does not have enough energy and I only wanted it on Poker. I finally decide to pick up 2 encounters that I could have easily gotten earlier, being Magnemite named I. Quickly evolved into a Magneton with an insane mid-game moveset. We also got Voltorb named Ballo that evolved into an extremely fast Electrode. Champion Steven then gives me a Mega Bracelet. Thanks Steven, my Mega Manectric will love using Overheat on your Mega Metagross later in the playthrough. You just signed your death warrant. In the Weather Institute, I got a Rocky Helmet, which is a held item you can never go wrong with. In Fortree City, we found the guy that showed me his little secret. This is an optional battle, but I'd like to take the opportunity for an ego boost because Magneton with the ability Sturdy can easily 1v1 this Flygon. Also, the Flygon is literally level 23. While fighting trainers, Ide learns his best steel move being Flash Cannon, and we find the Grass Knot TM that will definitely come in handy later. Winona is the flying type gym leader, and yeah, it's free for my electric types. Ide just completely disposes of her Swellow. Altaria does have a powerful Earthquake, but Outlet is able to use Charm twice before she can deal super effective damage. Altaria is part Dragon type, but Manectric's electric moves still do neutral damage, eventually KOing the bird. Ide Oko zaps the Pelipper, and Ballo Oko shocks the Skarmory. Thank you for the gym badge, Winona. I think it's fair to say that Outlet the Plusle using Charm and Encore is easily the MVP for this playthrough. We're not even done yet. The team gains a sizable upgrades before facing Tate and Liza. For starters, Ballo learns Magnet Rise. This grants him levitation for 3 turns, which makes him immune to his only weakness being ground type moves. I found a Light Ball item, and if Poker holds this, her attack and special attack stat will be doubled, adding to her lethality. Finally, in the Lilikove apartment store, I can buy the strongest electric move being Thunder to teach my team. With these buffs and reaching the level cap, it's time to take on the double battle Psychic Twins for our 7th gym badge. Now this battle is not as scary as their Emerald team, so I decided to do a fun little setup strat. Ballo deploys a light screen and PhD Costume Poker brings in an electric terrain. The floating rocks use Sunny Day and Light Screen, but that that won't matter. Ballo discharges, and Poker's lightning rod ability makes her immune. It doesn't do massive damage to both targets, even with the electric terrain setup. That's because of the light screen that was casted. It halves the power of special moves. Pikachu ignores it with a physical spark attack on Solrock for the KO. Lunatone is left and gets double teamed by my electric torture, which wins us the 7th gym badge. Again, this would have been worse if they had their Emerald team. That Claydol alone would have been a run killer for me. We gain the ability to dive underwater and capture our last encounter of the challenge. That is a Chinchou named Chimney. I forgot to record footage of him evolving. Chimney has an amazing first impression by taking down Maxie's Mightyena, Weezing, and almost Crobat before switching out. Then this Mega can erupt. Wait, what is his moveset? Magneton can solo him. Nice, Game Freak. At least give him Lava Plume if you don't give him a ground type move, like damn. Bro really tried taking over the world with this shit moveset. His Canerupt had a better moveset 16 levels ago. Unbelievable. And then Groudon is awakened and causes a big global warming meme, so I've respectfully traveled down into the cave and confront the primal form. Listen, I used my Master Ball on Chimney and none of my electric types can defeat this monster. So, yeah, Mega Latios curb stomps it. I saved the world. And for the record, I only did that so then there would still be an 8th gym leader that I can defeat to feed my ego. Wallace, you and your water types are oppressed in my world of electric purity. His pathetic love disc falls to a single volt switch. His Wishcast has Earthquake and is part ground typing, so he gets an electric immunity. Outlet uses Charm to weaken the Earthquake. It hurts Outlet for more than half her HP. I cannot pivot, so we risk if another Charm can have Outlet survive, and she barely holds on. I taught her Grass Knot for Wishcast, but I decided to swap because I am not confident it can one-shot. With Wishcast having Earthquake weakened, Chimney can tank some of the hits while splashing back with Surfs. Celio is out now, and Discharge doesn't do much. I think it's because that Wishcast used Mud Spore earlier, which lowers the power of all electric moves. Chimney takes advantage of Paralyzation and Confuse Ray to bring in Poker. Luckily, the Mud Spore faded, so Poker unleashes an electric terrain. Celio's Aurora Beam is a critical hit, and I almost cried. Next turn, Poker has enough speed and strength to knock out the Seal with a Spark. Wallace's Beauty of an Ace Milotic is next. Pivoting to Waluigi, and he survives a Hydro Pump. We Vault Switch out into Ballo, and he survives a critical hit Hydro Pump. I know Wallace is going to go for a heal, so Discharge is used. Even with electric terrain disappearing, Discharge is still enough to defeat the ace. His last member is a Sea King, and I'd completely walls the fish. With all 8 gym badges, I can now take my team of electric types to the Pokemon League, where I will destroy the Elite Four, Champion, and Watson's mental state. Victory Road is a breeze, and my battle with Wally is more of a slaughter. Chimney absolutely embarrassed Wally's whole team. Oh shit. Oh no, Mega Gallade. Oh no. Haha, little Sparkles slain the night. Wally, go back home. Why are you leaving Verdanturf in the first place, you worthless bitch? First up, we have Outlet the Plusle. With her being support, the key takeaway with this moveset is Nasty Plot and Baton Pass in order to enable her teammates. Ballo the Electrode is our fastest member, and his job is to deal some poke damage, and then the other half of his moveset is some defense options to the team. Chimney the Lantern has so many great coverage moves, and she's also serving as a Rain Dance setter for herself with the Damp Rock item and having Thunder. Poker the Pikachu is our only electric type member who's focused on dealing physical damage, and I gave her Icicle Crash because I needed something to answer Drake with. Ide the Magnezone has a pretty high special attack stat and some great moves, and it also can serve as a tank with its part Steel type and access to Magnet Rise with great defenses. Waluigi the Manectric is last, and his main job is just to deal as much damage as possible with a couple little bit of pivoting options, and he's holding that goofy little stone. As the Electric Master, I begin my push to the throne by battling Sydney. We light bulb away away his dark types by having Outlet use 2 nasty plots. With these boost and special attack, we baton pass over to Chimney. Chimney proceeds to spam Dazzling Gleam until Sydney's dark types die from just too much light exposure. Against Phoebe and her ghost types, Outlet can nasty plot again for Chimney. Chimney does take down her first Dusclops, but without a super effective move and Dusclops using Curse, our raid boss of a fish can't stay to sweep. Ide is brought out because he has the most defense, and he used the series of flash cannons and thunderbolts to slain all 4 of Phoebe's Pokemon. I really didn't expect things to go that way. Glacia is the 3rd member, and her ice types are no match for the thunder I'm bringing. Outlet once again performs a true combo of nasty plot into baton pass, but straight into Ide this time. Glacia's Glalie falls to a flash cannon. Her ace Walrein is OHKO'd by my thunderbolt, and the rest of her icebergs are bashed by my flash cannon. You know, now that I'm watching this footage back, I really wish I didn't use baton pass. I'm confident that I would have been fine without it. Now, Drake is the only Elite 4 member to resist our electric attacks with his dragons. I decided to be lame, and, well, of course, I nasty plot into baton pass, then Chimney ice beams his whole team to death. His Kingdra is left, and we land a thunder attack for the win on our first try. Yeah, I'm banning baton pass for future challenges. Champion Steven is our last battle, and his steel types do have the advantage. We're gonna have to be careful just throwing out electric moves because his steel types resist those moves. Outlet Volt switches to break the Skarmory's sturdy ability. Ballo is swapped in while Skarmory deploys spikes. This sucks, but the metal bird eventually falls from Electro Ball attacks. His Aggron plans to Earthquake Ballo, so we Magnet Rise to sidestep the super effective move. I know he won't use Earthquake, so I Volt Switch into Chimney, but his Stone Edge does massive damage still. The damage Aggron took from Volt Switch previously allows Chimney to wash him away with a Surf. Claydol catches me off guard for being next, so I just Surf. One more can't secure the KO because he installed a light screen and then fully restored, which now has Chimney quivering. I have no safe switches, so I decide to sack Outlet, and well, she awkwardly survived, so I turned my head the next turn as I let her fall. This has Poker freely come in, and well, she misses a icicle crash and immediately is killed. I shrug off the cannon fodder, as Chimney can now take down the Claydol because of light screen expiring. Cradilly is next, and I want to save as much health as possible on Ide. That's why Electrode fights the fossil. I try to magic coat, but Cradilly tries to confuse Ray. The Prism Berry heals our status, but we are confused again next turn. We ignore the confusion next turn, and I'm surprised that this magic coat actually did a good bit of damage. I will perish next turn, so we Electro Ball and get sucked to death. Cradilly's health is low enough for Ide to clean things up with a flash cannon. His Armaldo has a terrible speed stat, and Ide's flash cannons him before he could even use his abysmal moveset. Seriously, look at this moveset. This is not champion worthy. I would know a champion moveset. I got Volt Switch on everything. Finally, Steven reveals his ace Metagross. This Metagross is capable of Mega Evolution, but that doesn't fix his brain, as Mega Impact is just brushed off. I don't know why he would use that. Ide's Thunderbolt does pretty modest damage to the souped up Pseudo Legend. Now, we could embarrass his Mega with only Ide, but I made a promise to him back on Southern Island when he gave me the Mega Bracelet. That was having Mega Metagross toast to death by Mega Manetrix Overheat. Basking in our victory as the new champion of Hoenn, my electric types are illuminating brighter than ever. It feels so unreal to be the strongest electric trainer in Hoenn, and please someone go check on Watson, seriously.